I'm Kisten Warner. I'm going to read an extract from my novel, The Sound of Breaking Glass, which is the story of a daughter of a survivor of the Holocaust and of the transmission of trauma. This is something I have experienced. I'm reading this for International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Here's a passage about the father. Always there's some bastard making it hard for people. My father glared at my mother over the top of the newspaper and shook it. Conrad closed the paper, slapped it with the back of his fingers. Always you have to get a permit. Some kind of permission. My Uncle Richard. He rolled the R and shushed the middle CH. My Uncle Richard. You wouldn't believe his struggle. Stella's expression was cautious. Conrad stood up suddenly and started pacing around the living room, hands behind his back. He had a passport. His wife had a passport. His children had passports. But where were they to go? He glared at us. I ask you. No country would take them. The American Jews, did they want you? When Conrad was rhetorical, it was better to say nothing. They turned their backs. Those other Jews, they did mostly nothing. The world did nothing. Conrad's nothing had the choke of ammonia, a recoil like vinegar. I closed my eyes and peered into the black space behind my lids, where there was nothing except motes of light. Nothing was where you sank. Nothing was like outer space where there was no end to the universe. And how could something have no end? But then, how could the universe ever end? Because what was behind the wall? Conrad pushed up the sash window and leaned outside on straight arms as if he needed air. He turned towards us, half sitting on the window frame. The Nazis stamped your passport with the big red J, but at least they had a passport. We had the passports, and why wouldn't my father leave? Conrad dared us to answer. Because he thought he was a German. The word German said like jeer. As if it weren't obvious what their intentions were. He couldn't make up his mind to go until it was too late. Conrad sucked his teeth like he might remove them. I would have been off like a shot. He flung his arm up and away. I imagined my father like Tintin, crouched over his bicycle, pedalling like mad towards the border post and two small sentry boxes. A long-armed gate closed off a narrow country road through pine forest. Guards lounged each side with rifles, wearing heavy greatcoats and round helmets. They realised he was not going to stop and swung their rifles towards him. Conrad kept pedalling. He swerved, cut behind a sentry box, through an opening too small for a vehicle, and was through. Rifle shots pinged the road around him with sprays of gravel. Conrad the Invincible, bullets going straight past him, the guards in pursuit bawling, Achtung, Achtung, but they couldn't catch up and he didn't stop cycling, and then he disappeared around the bend in the road. Every day my father watched his brother Richard trying to get out all day, lining up, one consulate, one embassy, back again, lines at every last exit in Berlin, round and around every day, getting hungrier, poorer, swindled. I had heard this before, but I was always alarmed. What was I to do? How would you feel? You sell your good suit, you sell your good shoes, your overcoat, it's getting colder. It's the middle of the continent, the winds come from Siberia. You line up, and every day a fright, You live in a constant state of alarm. I can assure you there was hate everywhere, on the street, in every shop, in every face. You knew they would come for you in the end. One slip. That is all I experienced. Growing up in Berlin, every day of my life was humiliation.